is Wednesday again. This is the Wednesday weekly learning session for local bartending school. My name is Carlos Navia. I do this every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific time, at 6 p.m. Eastern time. You're always welcome to follow local bartending school on Facebook and be a part of this. There are two different links to get into this meeting. There is one for students that are already enrolled in local bartending school, and you'll be able to still use that link. If you are not already a student in local bartending school, there is a different link. They will ask you for a little bit of information, because you're interested in bartending. Then you'll be able to get into this call and be able to be into this call live. So I've been a bartender for a couple decades in several states, 2 countries. I've been training bartenders for local bartending school for about 8 years now. Started doing it in Florida before I moved back here to California. So I do a lot of one-on-ones, do this every week. If you're a student, you might recognize me from some of the videos in the online course that I shot out here in the central coast of California, where I live in San Luis Obispo, where it's beautiful, 70 degrees like it should be in California. So I want to talk a little bit about today. Are there any questions about anything before I kind of jump into today's topic? Always welcome to ask questions about anything during this time. All right, then. Just wanted to talk a little bit today about, kind of dealing with problem customers, dealing with upset customers. It is something that comes with the territory. It is part of the job. It's also something that can be unpleasant and, kind of unfortunate. Looking at some different things online today, I saw one person, one of their comments is like, you're just never really prepared for someone to, come up to you angry and upset about something. And that's true. We expect everybody to be having a good time. We want everybody to have fun. When someone's not happy, it's not a good thing, but we don't really expect it to happen. It kind of blindsides you sometimes. I think the biggest thing to kind of remember in all of this is that the people have been drinking. And, it doesn't always lead to great judgment and clear, concise thinking. So remember that we're dealing with people who have been drinking, and take that into consideration, when you're dealing with people, when you have people that are a problem. The kind of things you're going to get, people are going to complain. People are going to have complaints about things. It doesn't matter what you do. Some people are just going to be unsatisfied. They're just going to be unhappy. I do, really like this profession because 99.9% of the people that walk in the door are in a good mood. They're at a bar, they're going to have a drink, they're going to have a good time. That 0.01% just only happy when they're complaining about something. And that's their default. So you just got to realize it, not let it get to you. If you can resolve their problem on your own, that's fine. That's the best way to handle it. If there's a simple solution, if you can correct it, if you can't resolve it on your own, and you have to get a manager, that's fine. Some people just like to talk to the manager, part of a whole weird psychology that they have. But, if you can correct it and just make the person happy, real easy to do. I can remember the first full service bartending job I had was in Orange Beach, Alabama, down on the Gulf Coast of Alabama, there on the Gulf of Mexico. It is not uncommon for people to complain that they cannot taste alcohol in their daiquiris. And you're not supposed to. I just dumped a bunch of ice and sugar on top of that shot of rum, and you're probably not going to taste it. You could order a drink where you taste it. It's going to be a different drink. So, I'd only worked this place for a couple of weeks, and I'll never forget this guy. Ordered a strawberry daiquiri. I grabbed the pitcher, I grabbed the rum, I put it in there, I blend it, I pour it out, I put whipped cream, I make it for him. He takes it and he walks away. He comes back in a couple minutes, just irate. I mean, irate. Understand this is Alabama. It is what we affectionately refer to as the redneck Riviera. But he's just pissed. He comes up, he slams the strawberry daiquiri down and goes, "There's no alcohol in this." I'm like, "Sir, you watched me make it. You watched me pour it in there. No, there's no alcohol in this." And you know how I know? Because when my wife drinks alcohol, the vein in her forehead pops out, and she took a sip of this and her vein didn't pop out. I know there's no alcohol in this. Now, some 22 years later, I still really don't know what to say to that guy. I took the strawberry daiquiri, I threw it out, I got the pitcher. I'm sure he's watching me. It's a shot of run in there. Made him another strawberry daiquiri, sent him on his way. He was happy he got to see it made. Later, I let the manager know what happened. On a spill sheet, wrote down strawberry daiquiri. Customer gave it back, so we did account for the strawberry daiquiri that got thrown. I was able to take care of it. I just made him another one. It's not that big a deal. He's not happy with the first one, but be tactful. There's a way to handle it. But if you can handle the problem, bam, that's easy to do. Uh, Gonna deal with people that have had too much to drink, or there's a lot of factors that play into how fast someone will get drunk and how drunk they'll get, weight, how much water's in your system, what have you had to eat. But there's also what is in their system that's over the counter, recreational, or prescribed, because that's going to have an effect on them as well. So you're going to deal with people that are intoxicated, people that are inebriated. You see a person that you think's had enough, that's reached a limit. First thing you need to do, identify that person, let a manager know, let the rest of the staff. We don't keep it a secret. We want to make sure that everybody knows, hey, the guy in the blue shirt's cut off, or hey, that girl over there, she's cut off, she's not going to have it. We don't want to cut someone off and then have them get a drink from another server, have someone buy them another drink, give it to them. That person's cut off. They're not getting another drink from anywhere. They can't have another drink while they're in here. When you go to cut someone off, be nice about it, be tactful once again. Let a manager know, let a manager have your back. That is their job. Let them do their job. Let them be there in case anything happens, and just, have your back when you cut that person off. Offer them a non-alcoholic beverage, offer them some food, offer them something else. So no, hey, I can't serve you, any more alcohol, and make sure they got a ride. You don't want that person getting in their car and driving away. I think I find it funny, and it's a very serious topic. So really not a laughable topic, but there's a commercial where I live in California of people trying to do different things to sober up before driving, drinking a bunch of coffee or splashing water on their face. And the point of the commercial is, if you're trying to do this, it's not right. Okay. You shouldn't, if it's come to that, you're not getting behind the wheel. There's Lyft, there's Uber, there's no reason for it. We cannot take someone's keys away. We cannot tackle them and physically keep them in there. That is unfortunate. It has only happened a couple times where I have told the person, though, honestly, if you get in that car and drive away, I have your license plate number. I'm going to call the police, tell them you're drunk and you're driving a car and exactly where you're going, because I'm not going to let you kill someone. So, hopefully it never has to resort to that. But, make sure you have a ride, make sure they're not driving, hurting anybody else. And most people take it pretty good, to be honest with you. Very few people freak out about it. It's kind of one of those things of, someone calls me on Friday night, goes out. The last image they have of me is me just, I can't believe that you cut me off at this bar. Next Friday rolls around, those people aren't calling me. I'm embarrassing. They don't want to be around me. Most people don't want to embarrass themselves. They don't want to embarrass the people they're with. They'll take it pretty good. I have personally said this line, "Are you serious? I've been way drunker than that in this bar." That was not a way to get back in either. But most people, for the most part, they'll take it. And even I took it pretty good that time. They're like, "No, you need to go home. Get you guys out." It is fine. We needed to go home. So most people will take it pretty well. Just let them know, "Hey, I can't serve you anymore. I think you've had enough." Even this guy took it pretty well. I showed up to one of the hotels I worked at here for my 7 p.m. shift. I did not make it behind the bar before the bar manager grabbed me and said he doesn't get any more alcohol and points to a guy standing at the bar. I'm like, hey, can I clock in first? Maybe, get settled for a second before we jump into this. What I did not know was before I got there, this gentleman had been, behind it was a banquet, behind the bar was a banquet room, and there was a wedding reception. And he was walking around the wedding reception, telling people that he was the father of the bride, until the actual father of the bride got upset and came and got a manager and said, "We don't know who this guy is," got rid of him. He is now standing at the bar, running his mouth. I get behind the bar, I get my stuff settled, I get going, and he wants to arm wrestle. He's up on the bar, arm wrestle. I'm like, "No, I will absolutely not arm wrestle you. That is not happening. Come on, you're big, I can take you arm wrestling." No, that is not. "Well, then give me a shot at tequila." I said, "No, that's not happening either. You're not getting a shot at tequila." "Why not?" And my explanation was pretty simple. I have not been in every bar in the world, so I don't know every rule in every bar in the world. I'm pretty sure once you try to arm wrestle the bartender, no matter where you are, you're coming. And he left quietly. And that was the end of it. So, don't be afraid to cut someone off. Like I said, most people take it very well, and just have that manager behind you, have that person to have your back, should the person not take it so well. Sometimes when people are drinking, they will get into disputes. They will have arguments. There will be fights. First thing, don't try to be a hero. Don't put yourself in harm's way. That's not what you're there for. If you have security, if you have bouncers, that's what they're for. If something gets out of hand, that's what police are for. So, that's the biggest thing. Just don't put yourself in harm's way. A lot of fights can be identified, can be prevented if they're identified early. If you kind of see it before it escalates. I've done this a very long time. One of my very good friends, Spaghetti, lives in Las Vegas, still works security there to this day on Las Vegas Strip. I worked security with him for several years before I was a bartender, but we've been at bars. We spent a lot of hours at bars, and we could be in a bar in our free time, and this has happened several times. And we're sitting there, we're having a drink, we're talking to the bartender, and we'll see a fight about to start. And we'll start pointing. You guys are about to have a fight over there. Bartender, what are you talking about? A fight over there. And as we're telling bartender, a fight will break out. That we were trying to tell you that's going to happen. So a lot of times you can kind of see it happening. And what's funny is a lot of times it's just really over something stupid. And it really, really is. I can't tell you how many fights start in exactly this fashion. There's a crowded bar. I've got my drink. People are kind of pushing their way through because it's a very crowded, popular bar or nightclub. Someone bumps into me. I spill my drink. So I turn around and start cussing at this guy. Now, what this guy doesn't realize is that he spilled my drink. All he knows is some random stranger starts turning around and screaming at him. So he gets defensive. And the next thing you know, there's a fight. A lot of times, if you can calm those people down, diffuse the situation, make them realize what happened, the person will apologize. And I can't tell you how many times I've had guys that were about to go to blows. I was able to calm them down. We were able to diffuse the situation, and they hung out and spent. And, that is the best case scenario. Both parties stay, they spend money, and, that's the best we can hope for. It's kind of funny. I've seen guys face to face about to go at it. Once it calmed them down, realized what the situation was, one apologized. Hey, I didn't realize that. 20 minutes later, they're buying each other shots like they're friends. And it's very, very crazy. So, try to diffuse the situation if possible. Once people start fighting, get them out of there. That's the biggest thing. Once you start a fight, you're out. I've worked at places where you get in a fight one time, don't ever come back. And if you cuss at an employee, don't ever come back. So, I've definitely worked at those situations as well. Once again, don't get yourself in harm's way. Whatever you do, don't get between two guys about to fight and go face to face with one, because you are going to get punched in the back of the head. So stay your distance, separate them, don't get in between them, diffuse the situation. And more times than not, you can solve the problem and get both parties to calm down and get them to stay. And yeah, if you have security, let security handle it. That's their job. Let them, that's what they signed on for. That is in their job description. So let them take care of it if you have those security guards. I've worked at places with great security guards where from the bar I could go, hey, this guy needs to leave and not come back. And they just, yeah, and that was it. And that was all they had to hear. So, use your security guards. They're great guys. Take care of them. Make sure you give them, shoot them a Coke or a Sprite or something over there. They get thirsty, a cup of water or something, and they'll do great for you. They'll be your best friends. Where was I? Now, the other type of kind of problem customer that you might run into, and this one's my favorite, the person that's bothering other customers. I usually describe a certain scenario in this, and when I was looking a little online earlier today at a bar above, cool website, they sell a lot of bar equipment too, a website called barabove.com. They had actually broken down several categories of this certain type of annoying customer that annoys other customers. So I thought it was very funny that they broke it down into a couple different categories that you might run across of the customer that is annoying or upsetting other customers in the bar. The unwanted. So generally, more times than not, it's a guy. I thought it was very funny that the article said, although he has saved a young man from a cougar before. Generally, someone that is giving a girl or the opposite sex, or whoever they're interested in, attention, unwanted attention, the unwanted. And sometimes you'll see people do this little one. Can you get, like, if that person's not with you, no, not with us. Can you get that person away? So keep an eye on that. Generally, and I like what the person said in the article, which is make some eye contact with the person. They will give you a sign. They will give you a look if they're getting uncomfortable, and it is time for you to step in. And try to be tactful about it. But in that situation, I liked what he said. I treat every girl at the bar like it was my little sister. And if anything happens that I would not approve of happening to my little sister, then I'm definitely going to step in and intervene. So you may have to deal with that situation as well. Just keep your eyes on the situation. If necessary, step in. We don't want people feeling uncomfortable. We don't need people creeping out other customers in the bar. The third wheel, I thought this was funny because I hadn't thought about it, but I've definitely seen it tons of times. Third wheel, older person that attaches themselves to a young couple at the bar. Young couple sits down near them. They start talking. They buy the young couple a couple drinks. And before you know it, they're all involved in the rest of their night and kind of ruining, their night out as a couple. So once again, kind of pay attention to the people, see how they're acting. They might give you a little look. A great way to kind of intervene and step in on this one is, just start talking to the third wheel about something else. Bring up sports, bring up the weather, bring up, a reasonable topics, one of the topics we talked about in the bar, something to get them talking to you. And that gives the younger couple a little bit of window to go, hey, it was nice meeting you, and kind of get out of there. It gives them that opening. So the third wheel, get them talking about something. And, if that young couple wants to step away, they'll have their opportunity to step away. The lobbyist, the guy that is just intent on talking about politics, even though no one in the bar wants to talk about politics. Don't let them suck you in. Don't get involved in a political conversation with anybody at the bar. Remember that there are three taboo subjects in the bar, three things we never discuss: politics, religion, and pressing social issues. So, fights happen over girls, wars happen over politics, religion. That's the way it goes. So if the topic ever comes up, try to steer it to a different topic of conversation. But the most important thing is that we have no opinion. No matter what your real opinion is, no matter what your real thoughts about anything are, don't get baited into a conversation with anyone. What will happen is you're going to upset other people as well. If you're welcome to your point of view, but it's going to upset half of people. Okay, it's going to make half the people happy, and that's why we keep it to ourselves. So don't be baited in by the lobbyist. And you can see them kind of badgering other people sometimes. In extreme incidents, and folks that I worked with who have a bar up in North Dakota connected to their bowling alley. So they had a guy come in, swastika tattoos, bald. He's doing Heil Hitler signs in the middle of their bar. It's a very extreme version of this character. He was intent on getting in an argument and a fight with someone. And ask that person to leave. That person's got to go. That person's going to upset other people. You got to get rid of that person. The bigot, and it is unfortunate. And I kind of, anybody that's got hateful things to say about anybody else, it's not the place for it. The bar should be a place where everybody can hang out, everybody can feel comfortable, everybody can have a good time. And I think that's a very important dynamic in this business. So there is no room for hate. I put stop the hate. That's my notes. Unfortunately, though, we create an environment where we want people to feel comfortable, and they're having a couple of cocktails. And some people, unfortunately, at times feel a little too comfortable, and they get a little loose with what they say. I have told people, I'm trying to count the times. I can't even count how many times I have had to tell someone that is not appropriate to say. And if you say that again, I am going to ask you to leave, because that is not an appropriate thing to say in this bar. And they've all said, what? And I told them what they just said. And they went, okay, you're right. That is inappropriate. And I realized it was the same thing every time. They really didn't realize that they had said something inappropriate. They were just having a good time. They were feeling loose. They have a couple cocktails in them. They were feeling comfortable. So if you have to do that, step in, just let them know that is not appropriate to say here. You're going to offend other people. And, if you continue to say that, I will ask you to leave, because that's just not an appropriate thing to say in this bar. Anything, regarding race, religion, sex, creed, or whatever anybody does, just not the place for it. And the last one, the regular. So the regular, is that person that's there every night, runs up a big bill, maybe a very good chunk of your weekly tips because you see them 5 days a week, and feels that because of such things, they're special and the rules don't apply to them. They should be served first. They can do stuff other people can't do. They can do this, they can do that. If you want to appease the regular, you definitely, want them to stay happy. You want them to keep coming back, spending money. It's, definitely their hangout. It's their spot. But at the same time, you can't let them go too far. Gotta kind of nip it in the bud. And it's one of those things. So can't be afraid to tell them no. They're not above the rules like anybody else. The rules are there for a reason. They're put in place. They are not random. We do not make them up randomly. Put them in place because people have gotten hurt, that bad things have happened. And we've realized that if you don't do that, there's less instances of bad things happening. So try to work with them, try to be nice. Remember, it's a person that you do see 4 or 5 days a week. And the whole other thing is you see them 4 or 5 days a week, build a good relationship with them. Build that relationship where the person feels comfortable with you, that person knows you, but that person also knows you're in charge, you run the ship. And if I tell you no, that is a no. And don't be afraid to tell the regular no. So those are the 5 types of customers that annoy other customers that I got from a bar above that I thought was pretty darn funny. So I decided to share it today. Also saw another article, and I'll share this with you as well. I got this one from liquor.com, one of my favorite sites. I love going to liquor.com. They got awesome information and great drink recipes if you're just looking for drinks. If I just Google Manhattan, a lot of times a lot of random different things will come up. If I go to liquor.com and put it in, they're going to give me the recipe as it should be made in a bar in 2022. So that's why I like using them a lot. So this is liquor.com's 5 tips for handling problem customers. So tip number 1, stay calm. And I can't stress the importance of this enough. Don't escalate the situation. It's really easy when someone's yelling at you to get upset and want to yell back at them. And you can't do that. It's not going to solve anything. It's not going to get you anywhere. Even if you're right, it doesn't matter. You always end up wrong. When you lose your temper and you can't control yourself. Getting upset with someone, getting angry with someone, you're going to lose that customer. And may very well lose some other customers that see your behavior. Because if I witness a bartender yelling at a customer, I'm probably going to close my checkout because I'm going to be done. I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be around there. I don't want to be in that environment. So remain calm. And I think it's amazing that if you remain calm and you talk in a nice, mellow, monotone way, you can generally bring someone else down. From them being really hot to them kind of calming down and being able to be spoken with reasonably. One of the best general managers I ever worked with at a place called Las Suez Terraza in downtown Palm Springs, California. He had this amazing knack of, he was the general manager, of going up to someone that was just enraged, screaming, and 5 minutes later, he would walk away and that person would be happy. And very much of it was him remaining calm. And the second one, which is listening, that's number 2. You remain calm and you listen to what they had to say. People don't feel they're being heard. It's just going to escalate. It's just going to freak them out more. People want to, they have a problem. Okay, something's not right. So they feel like they've been wronged. Just let them get it out. Let them tell you. You need to tell somebody something's not right. Okay, so listen to them. Let them tell you the problem, and then if you can resolve it, resolve it. If you have to go get a manager to resolve it, get a manager to resolve it. But let the people talk, and listen to what they have to say. Don't take it personally. Most of the time, it's not going to be about you anyway. It's going to be about something else. So you can't take it personally. Remember, there's that certain percentage of people that are just always going to complain no matter how well you've done your job. So don't take it personally that people get upset. Don't take it home with you at the end of the night. Let it go. Worry about the people that are having a good time and realize that it's not you, it's that person. Um, you know, one of the places I worked at in Florida, the first place I worked at in Florida, in the summertime in a busy weekend, we would go on a 3 hour wait for dinner. And that was it. It's a 3 hour wait for dinner. Now, people have been on the beach drinking all day. They've now been waiting 2.5 hours for their table. Their kids had cheese sticks an hour and a half ago. They're still drinking. People get upset and they come up to screaming all the time. I've been waiting here for 2.5 hours. Well, how long did they tell you it was at the front? 3 hours? You probably got about 30 more minutes. Like, I don't know what to tell you. But it's they're not getting upset with me. They're getting upset with kind of the situation. And, we didn't lie to you at the front. It's going to be 3 hours. You probably got a little more weight. That's just the way it's going to be. So don't take it personally. Just let it go. People get upset for all kinds of crazy things. Let it go. Always let a manager know. Anytime anything happens, get a manager, let a manager know about it. It is their job to be responsible for everything in the restaurant that is going on. Let them do their job, help them do their job. You know, sorry, lost train of thought for a second. Let that manager come in. Just let them know what's happening. The other thing is, if I'm dealing with someone that's just belligerent, someone that won't listen, someone that I can't really calm down, someone that, just seems to be escalating, seems to be getting hotter, I can basically, I can very easily just say, sir, let me go get a manager for you. It's usually sir or ma'am. Let me been ma'am enough times. Let me go get a manager for you. I can go get a manager, and what I can do is I can take myself out of that situation. So this person can't be reasoned with. They're starting to kind of get to me. Okay, I'm going to tap out. Fine, let me just go get you a manager. I'll be right back. Now I can tap out. I can remove myself. I'm not in that situation anymore. I'm not in the middle of it. I can let the manager come do their job. And it is very weird that I can tell people one thing. I can tell people something and they won't accept it. The manager can come and tell people the exact same thing I just told them, and now they're okay with it because it came from a manager, and that's all there is to it. So let the managers do their job, and remember, it's not you. As a manager, I would go to servers all the time and just be like, hey, just, you didn't do anything wrong. Those people are just crazy. Crazy people exist. So let a manager know. And if it comes down to it, you have to remove the customer. You have to remove the customer. If you have security, get security. Unfortunately, it is going to happen from time to time. You're going to have to ask someone to leave. It's kind of one of these things. Sorry, look at my notes. If you're asked to leave, probably it's okay. Now I understand what my notes mean for this. A lot of times, someone that ends up being asked to leave a bar is upsetting other people in the bar. And other people are going to be very happy about the fact that you kicked that person out. It's a little comfortable. It's a little unpleasant to tell someone, hey, you need to go. There's the door. And unfortunately, it's time for you to leave and I need you to leave. Can be a little unpleasant. People can get a little upset about that sometimes. But I have kicked people out to applause from the rest of the bar. Once here in Cambria, I kicked a guy out to a standing ovation. He had upset the rest of the lounge so much that when I kicked him out, people stood up clapping as he walked away. So, if it comes to that, and it's unfortunate and is really a last resort, we'd love to keep everybody in there and keep them spending money and having a good time. That's kind of what this is all about. But if you have to, get someone out of there, you have to get someone out of there. To refuse to leave, call the police, have the police come get them. I have never had to complete the phone call. Don't ever threaten to call the police if you're not willing to as well. Know where the number is. You have to call them. That's their job as well. But I've only made it as far as picking the phone up before the person's realized, okay, you got two choices. You can leave on your own or the police can come and take you. And unfortunately, I have had to call the police to have people removed. And it's a little unpleasant as well. Some kicking and screaming. That was a woman too, but it does happen. And the woman kicking and screaming. It was definitely one of those cases where it was more than the two white Russians I served her. She definitely had something else in her system that set her off like that. So that's today's topic. Let's talk a little bit about drinks, have a little fun here, and grab some water. So lemon drops are super popular. I like lemon drops myself. And we can do a lemon drop two ways here. It can be done as a martini, it can be done as a shot. I was originally taught it just as a shot when I went to bar school some 22 years ago. I think it's kind of evolved into a martini, or maybe it was a martini first. I kind of looked up the history. I didn't see much as far as it's just said it could be done both ways. Created in 1970 by Norman J. Hobday. I thought that name was awesome. An out of work Vietnam vet who turned saloon owner. Became an instant hit. In 2006, Oprah even served one to Rachel Ray on her show. And my wife was watching Oprah last night. That's just why I thought I'd throw that in. So if I go to do my martini, if I go to do my shot, I'm going to do them a little bit differently. So let me grab my stuff here. So all we're really looking for, some vodka, some fresh lemon juice. We'll throw a little orange liqueur in there and some sugar or some simple syrup. So first thing I'm going to do, since I don't have a cooler or freezer out here in my tiki bar, I'm going to go ahead and chill out my martini glass, a little bit of ice and a little bit of water here. Let me just let my martini glass chill there while we build up our martini and our mixing tin. So I'm going to grab my handy dandy mixing tin here. Put a little ice in there, not going to fill it too full. There we go. And, you could just use regular vodka. I think it's become pretty popular for people to use citrus vodka. It's going to give it a little more lemon flavor. I've seen people do it with some berry vodkas, give it a little berry flavor as well. It gives it a nice little spin. So if you want to do citrus vodka, that's fine. We're going to go ahead and do 1.5 ounces here of our vodka. And once again, I just got water out here. This is not real alcohol. Occasionally, I do one with real alcohol when I have people to drink them, but that is not today. I have much more work to do after this. So I'm going to go ahead with my Cointreau, my orange liqueur. Just going to do 1/2 ounce of that in there. So what we need is some fresh lemon juice. So we'll grab a lemon here. When you're going to put lemons, limes into the squeezer, into the presser, it's good to take the ends off. Those little nubs kind of get in the way sometimes. You'll get a better squeeze this way. I'm going to cut this off. I'm also going to make myself a little garnish here at the same time. All right. So, and once again, 1/2 lemon, 1/2 lime. In general, is about 1/2 ounce of juice. Let me get this guy in here solid. There we go. And I'm going to squeeze that in there nicely. So the other thing I'm going to need is my simple syrup. Just sugar and water, just 1/2 sugar, 1/2 hot water, really easy to make. And we're going to put about 1/2 ounce of that in there as well. Now, I've seen some people put maybe, splash of sweet and sour mix in there. It's citrus, it's sugar, it's water. It's just going to kind of complement the flavor. If you want to do that, that's fine. Go ahead and do that as well. All right, we're going to lock our pint glass in there. It doesn't fall out. We are all set. We are ready to go. Back over our shoulder. Give it a nice good shake. Get nice and crushed up. We're going to get that nice and diluted. A little effort into it. Once again, you can always do the underhanded shake as well. That works just as well. So it's pretty good. I got a nice shake there. Pop that going out. And we're going to do a sugared rim here on the martini. So I'm going to go ahead and shake my glass out here. Try not to hit it on the bar and break it like I've done many times. I'm going to put some sugar in here like that. Take my lemon, some lemon juice on the edge here. There we go. Give it a nice sugary rub. Put my screen in there. We'll pour out our nice lemon drop martini. Give it a nice little shake. A little more will drip out every time. Some nice ice crystals on the top of that one. You know, this is a perfect drink for a lemon wheel garnish. You know, the full wheel works a lot of times best on drinks where you've already got some fresh juice squeezed in there. So since there's fresh juice already squeezed into this cocktail, the person wouldn't have to squeeze some fresh lemon juice in there themselves. It wouldn't be necessary. Bam, and we have our lemon drop martini. So if we want to do a shot, I'm going to do it a little bit different. Most places, when you get martinis, you're going to be an extra pour like this. They're going to charge you more for them than they would if you just had the regular shot. So if I just grab my mixing tin here once again, throw a little ice in there. I'm going to cut down the portions on this one because we're only doing a shot. Once again, you charge more for the martini. So I'm going to cut everything in half here. Just about a quarter ounce of that. And a simple syrup right here. Go. I'm not going to squeeze this whole one in there. So it's only about half. I'm just going to squeeze a little bit of the fresh lemon juice like that. There we go. Now, pop that one in there, lock it in once again, give it a nice good shake. That nice and chilled and stick up in there, pop it off. Grab another lemon here. Give myself a little half moon. I'm going to pour my shot into my shot glass. Gonna give it a nice little shake. A little more to drip out. But instead of doing the sugar rim, like you noticed I didn't do the sugar rim this time, because I'm doing it as a shot, I'm going to go ahead and take this piece of lemon and I'm just going to roll it in the sugar like this. So I have this nice sugar covered lemon, and I'm going to put it on there like that. So when the person's, drinking it as a martini, I want to go ahead and put the sugar all the way around it. They're going to get a little bit of sugar with each sip as they go around the martini. When I'm taking it just as a straight shot, I've got that sugar-covered lemon now. I can take my shot, bite into that sugar-covered lemon to wash it down, and it tastes like the little lemon drop candies that you may have seen before. Wait, I might have a picture of it. I don't have a picture of them. I thought I did. But lemon drop candies, that's what it's supposed to taste like. So just a little nuance and just a little difference there between if I'm doing a lemon drop as a martini or if I'm doing a lemon drop as a shot. Put this off to the side. Now, I talked about martinis last week, and I realized that I left one out. How could you leave out one of the most iconic martinis, one of the most iconic movie lines there is? And let me rinse this out. But of course, the martini drunk by one James Bond. So, James Bond drinks a Vesper martini. And that is what it is. It was actually invented by the author Ian Fleming, who wrote the James Bond. I believe there were books before movies. And real simple to do. So if we do our Vesper, once again, I'm going to go ahead and take my martini glass and get it chilled out. A little bit of ice and a little bit of water. And set it off to the side. All right, so we're going to grab some ice again, form a mixing tin. A little bit more. There we go. So a Vesper would be gin and vodka. So I have had people come up and order it from me equal parts, 50-50. I was taught traditionally that it should be twice as much gin as you would put in vodka. So I did 2 ounces of our what would be gin. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this is the only thing clear I have out here. So this is also going to be my 1 ounce of vodka. So I have twice as much gin as I have vodka in there. The other thing you put in there is what's called the let. I do have a picture of this one. So this is a white wine aperitif. Basically kind of the same. It's just kind of like a dry vermouth, very similar. So you see it around a lot of places. Have seen people drink it straight, but otherwise mostly used for making Vespers if you have people that come up and order Vespers. So this is going to represent my Lillet. I was looking at liquor.com. They said do a half ounce. Might be a little heavy, just like just like a lot of recipes that you'll see a half ounce of dry vermouth in your regular martini. I don't think it takes much. It just takes a little splash of it. It doesn't take a whole lot, just like when you're doing a regular martini. Pop it in, give it a smile, give it a shake. Don't shake towards the people. Always make sure it's back here behind the bar where it's not going to, if it flies out of your hands, it doesn't hit anybody. We'll get that nice and shook up there. Nice and good. All right. Let that drip out. Throw my ice out here. Got my nice chilled glass ready to go. And pour out my Vesper martini. Oh, yeah. And always a little shake. And you'll get a little more to drip out every time. And a Vesper should be served with a lemon twist. So I'm sure I got a lemon here. We'll go ahead and peel my lemon twist off. Outside of the peel, all the way around. Squeeze it in there. Drop it in. And we have our Vesper. Shaken, not stirred, just the way James Bond would love. So, got a little time. Gonna do a couple more here. Set you off to the side too. Let's not put you by the computer. Set you off to the side. So, another one that kind of seems to kind of fall into the martini Manhattan old-fashioned category is a Negroni, gin drink. So you're doing our Negroni. Just going to go ahead and stir this one. So grab some ice. So do our Negroni here. Negroni, equal parts of gin, Campari, sweet vermouth. Campari is an Italian aperitif. It kind of has the taste of bitter fruit and different herbs. People drink it a lot of times with soda water and orange. So if I go ahead and I do my ounce of each of those, so that's about the color of Campari there. I'm going to go and throw in an ounce of that. So I believe this is my sweet vermouth looking stuff here. I'm going to throw an ounce of that. And I've got my clear here from the gin. And we're going to throw in an ounce of that as well. And then, once again, there's a rubber nub on that because that is the side that's intended to go in there. But if I use this side, will it still stir the drink? Yes. If you want to use the spoon side, use the spoon side. A good 9 or 10 stirs, all it takes. We're still bringing it down to 32 degrees. We're just not diluting it as much. We're not watering down the drink as much as when we're shaking up and crushing up the ice in there. What I will do, though, is I will strain it over a glass of fresh ice. Like this, which is the popular trend now. And even with just a pint glass or, a fancy glass mixing tin, I can just put my screen in there just like that. Pour out my Negroni. Once again, a little shake. And we'll get that little extra bit out like that. And we're going to go ahead and finish that off with a nice orange twist here. Grab my orange. Just like that. All the way around the glass. Squeeze it in there, drop it in there. It wants to go in there. A couple straws and our napkin. And we have our Negroni ready to go. And like on martinis, Manhattans, and old fashions, generally I'm going to ask people what kind of gin they want in their Negroni. It is going to make a difference. And they might very well have a go-to. People drink stuff like that, once again, generally have a discerning taste. So let's try one more before we run out of time here, because I saw this one. I thought this one was fun. And you know what? I have another clean glass. We'll do this one. We'll do this one stirred too. So rum and orange cocktail is what the site saw where I found it. So we're going to do some rum. And we're going to do a little bit of orange. So we would use aged rum. We would use dark rum, something like some aged Jamaican rum. It's about the color of what I've been using for whiskey. So we're going to put an ounce of that in there. Then we're also going to do an ounce of our sweet vermouth in there as well. And then the other thing we put in there is Amaro. Amaro is an herbal liqueur. You taste roots, herbs, black licorice, stuff like that. Kind of like an Italian Jägermeister, if I had to compare it to something. That's Amaro Montenegro. That's a brand right there. You see it around a lot. The other one you see is called Fernet. I've got a picture of that too. You might see Fernet Branco around a lot too. I do see this. I am very surprised to see college kids in their 20s doing straight shots of Fernet around here where I live in Central California. I thought it was something that was dying off, but there's generally a still younger generation coming up drinking Fernet, drinking Amaro. So those are the two you might actually see on that one. So I've got something that I'm hoping resembles it the best I can. And we're going to throw an ounce of that in there too. I'm going to go ahead and throw in a couple dashes of bitters, give it a little extra flavor. And we're going to give it a nice stir. Get that nice mixed up, get that nice and cold. And once again, while I'm stirring, like while I'm shaking, I smile, keep my head up, I stay present. I can still be talking to people. I can still be looking around. I can still be doing other things, answering questions for people, taking food orders, stuff like that. Gonna once again get some fresh ice in here to strain it over. And we'll have our rum and orange cocktail. Since it's our rum and orange cocktail, of course, we got to finish that off with a nice orange twist. When you're doing a twist like this with the drag down one, key is not to drag it down. Keep this in one place, move the piece of fruit, you get a nice, long, good twist off there. All right, all the way around with the outside of the peel to get the essence of the orange on the outside of the brim. A little squeeze over the top to get the essence of the orange in the drink. We will throw in a couple straws. We will throw a napkin out there for it. And we have our rum orange cocktail to go with the rest of our cocktails from today. So, anybody have any questions? Oh, don't spill it about anything I talked about today or any other questions I can answer for you. All right. Well, thank you very much. We'll be back next Wednesday, and we will be into the month of February. So we actually got two things coming up in the month of February. So I think I'll probably spend the next 2 Wednesdays talking about 2 topics. Valentine's Day, of course, which is coming up here in a couple weeks. But the other one is right before Valentine's Day, Super Bowl Sunday. Also a big drinking day, a day where a lot of people go out to bars, have a good time. So we'll talk about both of those the next 2 weeks, a little bit about Super Bowl Sunday, and we'll talk about Valentine's Day and some great Valentine's Day cocktail ideas. Oh, I do see something in the chat. Thank you very much, Misty. Glad you enjoyed it. Thank you for showing up. All right, then. If there are no questions, I will sign off for the day, and I will be back next Wednesday. Once again, start talking about Valentine's and Super Bowl. That's what we got coming up. Thank you, everyone. Have a great week.